headaches, dizziness, nausea, loss of hearing. Many said they heard a strange sound, high-pitched, metallic, and piercing. Then came confusion, memory loss, even brain damage. Doctors were baffled. Governments pointed fingers. And the world began asking, what is Havana syndrome? A weapon? A psychological illusion? Or something far stranger? The first victims' reenactment of embassy staff inside their homes, holding their heads, hearing strange noises. The first reports came from American and Canadian diplomats living in Havana. In late 2016, one by one, they began experiencing odd sensations, as if their brains were being targeted by invisible waves. Some said the noise followed them from room to room. Others said the moment they stepped away from the sound, the symptoms stopped instantly. Interview, former diplomat, dramatized. It felt like pressure inside my head, like my skull was vibrating from the inside. Soon, more embassy workers fell ill. Within months, the US government evacuated over 24 staff members from Havana. The mystery had turned diplomatic and political. A new kind of weapon? Animated diagrams of microwave beams, surveillance footage of embassies, military scientists at computers. When the reports reached Washington, intelligence agencies went on high alert. Was this a new form of espionage weapon? Some scientists pointed to the microwave theory, a possibility that energy beams could damage the brain's tissues, causing symptoms without leaving traces. Others speculated about sonic weapons, invisible sound waves powerful enough to disrupt the inner ear. Interview, physicist. It's theoretically possible to use microwaves to affect the human nervous system. But there's no clear evidence such a weapon has ever been deployed. Still, the coincidence was too strange to ignore. Dozens of diplomats, in one city, all struck by the same mysterious illness. The mystery spreads. World map highlighting new reports: China, Austria, Germany, Washington, D.C. By 2018, the so-called Havana syndrome had spread far beyond Cuba. American diplomats and intelligence officers in China, Germany, Austria, and even Washington, D.C. began reporting similar experiences. Some collapsed suddenly while traveling. Others woke up with ringing in their ears and severe vertigo. Interview, CIA officer, dramatized. It wasn't just Havana anymore. It could happen anywhere, at any time. The pattern seemed to follow US intelligence officials, leading some to believe it was part of a global targeting campaign. But who was behind it? Russia? China? A rogue intelligence group? Or something entirely different? The science of the syndrome: brain scans, neurologists studying data, MRI machines. Doctors studying victims found concussions without trauma, as if their brains had been shaken without impact. Some showed changes in the white matter, the brain's communication highways. But others showed no physical damage at all. No clear pattern. No consistent cause. Interview, neurologist. It's real suffering, but medically, it's inconsistent. Some patients fit the profile. Others don't. That's what makes this case so bizarre. Scientists began debating whether Havana syndrome was neurological, psychological, or a mix of both. Mass psychogenic illness? Psychologists at work, crowd behavior studies, news headlines. Some researchers offered a radical theory. What if Havana syndrome wasn't caused by a weapon, but by the mind itself? They pointed to cases of mass psychogenic illness, when groups of people experience real symptoms triggered by fear and suggestion, not by physical harm. Psychologist. When people under stress believe they're being targeted, their brains can create physical responses: pain, nausea, disorientation, without any external attack. But for the victims, many of whom were trained diplomats and CIA officers, the idea of it's all in your head felt dismissive, even insulting. The truth, they said, was too real to be imagined. Politics and paranoia. White House press conferences, intelligence meetings, global news coverage. As reports grew, the political tension deepened. The US expelled Cuban diplomats, accusing Havana of negligence, or worse. Cuba denied any wrongdoing, calling the accusations science fiction. Russia, often accused of covert attacks, called it Western hysteria. Meanwhile, Washington poured millions into investigations. Dozens of intelligence agencies, defense contractors, and scientists searched for clues. After years of research, no device, no weapon, no culprit was ever found. Former CIA director, archival. We may never fully understand what happened, but we take every case seriously. The human cost, real victims speaking at hearings, close-ups of faces, medical treatments. Behind the politics and science are the people who suffered. Diplomats who can't work anymore. Agents who can't sleep without headaches. Families whose lives were shattered by something invisible. Affected officer, I loved my job. But now, some days I can't remember simple things. It feels like part of me was stolen. In 2021, the US passed the Havana Act, offering medical and financial support to victims. But even today, many live without answers, trapped between science and secrecy. The mystery remains. After years of investigation, the CIA concluded there was no evidence of a foreign attack behind most cases. But that didn't end the debate. Some scientists still suspect a classified energy weapon, others a coincidence amplified by anxiety. Every theory seems to open another door, but none lead to certainty. It's one of those modern mysteries, too strange to dismiss, too unclear to solve. Echoes in the mind. Nighttime Havana streets, embassy lights flickering, slow zoom into a diplomat's face as faint static fills the air. The case of Havana syndrome blurs the line between mind and machine, fear and fact. It's a story of power, secrecy, and the human brain, the most advanced and mysterious weapon of all. Whether it began with sound waves, microwaves, or the power of belief, one truth remains: in an age of invisible technology, the battlefield is no longer the land or sea, but the mind. Havana syndrome remains unsolved. Investigations continue around the world.